super excited tonight because I get to share with you how to make a Jewish Seder plate. So if you ever want to eat like your Jewish friends, now is the time. Let me walk you through it. To understand a Jewish Seder plate, you have to understand what the Passover is. And so let me go over the story real quick. The Israelites are suffering greatly. They're super sad. God asks a man named Moses to come to the rescue. Moses asks Pharaoh to let his people go. Pharaoh says no, causing God to rain down a bunch of plagues on the Egyptians. Water turns into blood. Frogs take over the land, followed by gnats and flies. All of the animals become diseased and die. Then there's a plague of really bad hail. Then boils and sores cover the Egyptians' skin. Then locusts cover the land and eat all of the crops, followed by total darkness. The last plague is called the plague of the firstborn. It's when God sent the angel of death to the land of Egypt. And the Israelites had to do something really special in order for the angel of death to pass over them. The Israelites had to kill a spotless lamb. They had to drain its blood. They had to eat the lamb, and they had to paint its blood over their door. If the angel of death saw that, then they would pass over their house. All of the firstborn in Egypt died, except for the Israelites who had the blood of the lamb painted over their door. After that last plague and after Pharaoh's firstborn had died, he was ready to let the Israelites go, and so he did. He ended up changing his mind, but that's a different story that we'll talk about another time. All right, now you can understand the Seder plate. This is called charoset. This is a bitter herb. This is matzo. This is an egg, and typically on a Seder plate they will have a actual egg you can eat. And this is grape juice, but typically they would have wine for a Seder meal. Now my Seder plate doesn't have everything that's on an actual Seder plate. I just picked out a few of the things to explain to you. One of the things is the charoset. This represents something sweet. It has apples and cinnamon and sugar all mixed together. I put some grape juice in there too, so you can make that at home. It's like super easy. This is my bitter herb. You can use anything, like you can even use lettuce, but you can also use like parsley or something like that. This is matzo. You can get this at any store. You can even get it online now. And then this is an egg. This is an Easter egg. And then this is grape juice. You can get it anywhere. So you can create your own Seder plate. The Seder meal does have an order to it that we're not going to be talking about tonight. But here are just kind of some of the ways they use these elements that we've been talking about. They would dip this, and when I say they, I mean Jewish people during the Passover meal. They're going to dip these bitter herbs into salt water. I'm going to do it just to show you. But then they eat it. And it's pretty bitter and salty to me. And that's to represent the tears that the Israelites cried when they were in slavery. So it's pretty gross. Charoset is the Hebrew word for clay. And this is one of my favorite things on this Seder plate. And it's because it's super sweet to eat. But normally what you would do is you would take the matzo and you would put a little bit of charoset on it and eat it that way. But the charoset is made to represent the bricks that the Israelites made while they were in slavery in Egypt. Now the matzo bread is a very important part of the Jewish Seder plate. It is a flat bread. It is an unleavened bread, which means it has no yeast. God commanded during the time of Passover that all of the yeast be thrown out of the house. They would make bread in a hurry so that they can leave the land of Egypt, and so their bread was as flat as this matzo with no yeast in it. Now, the wine in a Jewish Seder meal represents promises that God made. And so during a Seder meal, they'll drink the wine numerous times. I think it's 4 times to represent promises that God made. Now, the egg on the Seder plate normally represents a new life. When the Jewish people left Egypt, they were going to start a new life. One important thing that we don't have on our Seder plate is the roasted lamb. It represents that they ate lamb during the Passover meal, and they had to spill its blood and paint it over the door. So Jews all around the world will be celebrating the Passover meal, and you guys can too as Christians. Christ's body was broken, and it didn't have any sin or leaven in it or yeast in it. We were enslaved to our sin, but we have a sweet life and a new life with Jesus, and his blood covers us.